Brady, 9 questions, kind of going back to the Cotton Bowl. What went into your decision to return for your senior year after the Cotton Bowl, and did you consult with anybody outside of your family and Coach Silverfield?
Yeah, so, well, basically the biggest thing I wanted to do was make sure I give myself the necessary amount of time to kind of do some digging in regards to making that decision, because I was so focused on the season and even towards the end of the year, making sure that I was maximizing those opportunities with my teammates and accomplishing something we've never had, in a long time at this school. And so I hadn't invested as much time and energy into looking into the next step. So once we had beaten Cincinnati the first time, I think I really started to kind of think about it and look into it and ask questions. And then obviously once the regular season was over and we won the championship, I really wanted to, start, doing more for that process. And so that's why it took a little bit of time, because I wanted to make sure I was doing my due diligence, talking with my family, Coach Silverfield. I did talk with a couple of people outside of my family, but they're really tight to myself and my family, so I consider them a close family friend. But they're connected and credible sources. And so I just knew I had an awesome opportunity to come back. I think either way I was very comfortable and confident, but was just excited about what we could possibly do and what I could do for myself and also for, this team coming back for my last year and maximizing that opportunity. And then just kind of building on what I have so far for going into, once I'm done here and taking my next step.
Did you stay here in Memphis for your shelter in place?
Yes, I have.
So how have you been staying in shape, both physically and then from the mental side of things?
Yeah, I mean, physically, you obviously have to make some adjustments, but still working out, pretty much every day. I do have my little off day throughout the week, but just getting in your physical workout, you have to adjust it because you're not just going to a weight room and having the normal routine, but I'm still getting that in, 4 times a week, and on the off day, making sure I'm moving around, with a long walk or a run. And then, I will, as far as the, mental, you still got your iPads to watch film, and we still do Zoom meetings with coaches. So, as far as that aspect, there's not a big, it's still pretty normal. The only difference is we're not meeting at the facilities or in person, but so I'm still being very productive and feel really good with my routine, but yeah, it's just different for sure.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, I know before this all started, that your nutrition was a big thing that you were focusing on in your preseason. Has that gotten to be more challenging with this situation?
No, it hasn't been more challenging. I've still been consistent with my nutrition and really have focused on I think that's a big part, especially in this time. I think it's easy to let it go kind of during this craziness. And when you don't have like gyms and stuff open or weight rooms, if you keep that nutrition a staple and pretty solid, I think that's going to help, what I'm trying to do with my goals in the off season and kind of off the field for myself personally. So I've stayed consistent with that. I think I'm just able to be more flexible with kind of like my meals. Like usually, I prep and am consistent throughout a week with like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm eating all the same things. since I'm home so much, if I want, I can switch it up a little bit and make more food. So
Become a gourmet chef.
yeah, no, I don't know about gourmet, but I can definitely cook some more and have my girlfriend help me out.
All right. Have you been talking with some of your teammates that maybe are not here in Memphis? And they've mentioned, you know, Manny's had some funny kind of workouts that he's posted on
Yeah,
social media.
yeah, I've definitely shot some texts out and checked in on guys just to see, you know, hoping they're being safe, their families are doing well, and then to, you know, one, just ask them how they're doing and how everything's going, and then also to check in on them, make sure that they're getting, you know, their work in. And yeah, Manny's posted some videos of working out with his girlfriend and using so it's really encouraging to see, because guys are, you know, I've seen a lot of videos and have heard, you know, from coaches that there's a lot of guys getting their work in and getting stuff done, which is really encouraging. And because, you know, everyone's going through this, and it's tough, and it's no doubt going to affect just the off season in general. I know spring ball, we'll see what happens with summer and all that different stuff. But, you know, if myself and the rest of my teammates and our team continues to, you know, just maximize every day, making sure we're getting work in, you're finding ways to be active and stay in shape and do some football activity, you can create this opportunity and make it an advantage rather than something that hurts you. You know, if hopefully this season, you know, presumes as we hope it will.
You mentioned spring ball, and given that we don't know what preseason ball will look like, or if spring ball is not going to be summer ball. But as of right now, what do you miss about spring ball?
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, my routine has become pretty solid, where I feel like I'm getting my physical activity and my football in. I'm like checking those boxes, but I just miss I miss being like there at you know, there present at the facilities with my teammates, with the coaches, seeing everyone every day. And, you know, like I could do football on my own, or like study it and watch film, but it's not the same as kind of like being in it.
Yeah.
And so I just miss the kind of the daily grind of it, honestly. I mean, you're getting a lot of time off, and it's not off because we're working hard, but it's just not the same. So I just miss the grind. I missed being there with all my teammates and being able to access our facilities and have, you know, football practice going on and studying football all day with install meetings and working on all that stuff. So for sure.
How optimistic are you that we'll have a season?
Yeah, you know, I'm very optimistic. I'm a pretty optimistic person, but I'm also realistic. But I do think that there's a possibility. I understand serious, you know, severity and seriousness of this issue. So I'm not going to be an idiot and say, oh yeah, you know, season's going to just happen. I think it will, and I hope it will, but you know, I think our entire country and the entire world's kind of going through something that's unique, and there's a lot of question marks, and I'm a very small piece to this puzzle, and so I'm not sure, but my whole deal is like, you got to be prepared, just like for a game, you know, you got to prepare for everything, and so that when you see it on game day, you can act and do well. And you know, that's what I'm telling our guys right now. Like, if this ends in a couple months, we're gonna just pick up where we are. We're not gonna restart spring ball, and they're not gonna, you know, do that for people. So the people that are maximizing their time right now are gonna have a huge advantage, and it's gonna help a lot. So let's make sure we're doing that, because if that does happen, we got to be ready to go. And it's better to be over prepared than under prepared. So we'll see.
How's your family been? all back in California, or did your brother and sister stay at school?
No, they're all back in They were all back in California. My sister is back at school, I believe, um, with her roommates and stuff off campus and quarantining there and being smart. Everyone's safe. That's the biggest thing. Everyone's safe, doing well. So obviously, I'm checking in on them daily and having some fun FaceTimes and playing games virtually and whatnot. So we're all doing well.
Good. So what is the best thing that you have seen during this time?
I think the best thing is, and I think a lot of people are saying it, is one is all the people that are like getting outside, walking, doing physical activity. You know, I think another thing like that kind of couples with that is a lot of people, there is tough times, jobs and businesses kind of get closing down and all that sucks. But there's a lot more time and availability to do other things, be with your family, be with loved ones, or that's why a lot of people are outside. There's, everyone's staying in a house and they have a lot of time on their hands and they don't want to hurt themselves and go insane. So they get outside and I think it's good though, because I think it'll, it could put, when everything returns back to normal, it could possibly spark like new interests and passions for doing something else that they may not have been doing in the past, or realizing how fortunate they are just to go outside and walk and to be with people. So I think that's one good thing. Another good thing is just the togetherness. I think the whole world is, everyone's fighting, everyone's dealing with this, and you can look at it on a large scale or a small scale, and there's got to be some unity. There's got to be people working together, and so I think those are two things that have been cool to see, and I just hope we can continue to fight this and listen and be doing the right thing, and then knock it out and not have to worry about it.
So when you're inside binge watching any TV shows?
Yeah, there's been, we've already knocked out a couple. I think everyone has, watched that Tiger King Netflix series, and we knocked that one out pretty quick. That was very interesting, very sad. But we watched that. We've, what was another one we watched? Right now we're watching the Ellen DeGeneres Game of Games. That's a very fun, interesting TV show that we've been enjoying. We've gotten a handful of recommendations from other friends and family members on what we should be watching, but gosh, what was the other one? There was another one that we finished. I can't remember, but yeah. So we're definitely we're using our applications on our TV for sure. We're using Netflix, Hulu, our YouTube. We're using it all.
All the streaming.
Yeah, you got to mix it up too. So we're binge watching multiple things.
Last question I've got. Have you talked with any of the guys getting ready for the NFL draft and just kind of the challenges that they're trying to handle?
Yeah, no doubt. I've talked with multiple guys, Joey, Patrick, Antonio, and Keith Brigham. A handful of guys, and it's just, that's what sucks, is there's just a lot of uncertainty, a lot of, like I said earlier, a lot of like we gotta wait and see, or we don't know. So obviously some guys are in different situations, whether it's like Antonio and Patrick who went to the combine, and versus other guys that didn't have that. It's there's a lot of variables, but at the end of the day, I think everyone's just kind of trying to take it all in and trying to handle it in the best way possible. And some of them have agents and kind of like a little team around them that, clearly they're all going to work together and have a plan in place and try to do the best they can during this time. But, there's no workouts for teams. The pro days get canceled. It's just tough. It shrinks the amount of opportunities you have in front of, those scouts or GMs or coaches that could help you. But everyone's been, very positive and optimistic, and kind of like what we're doing as a team. That everyone has reiterated how they're making sure they're staying ready, and they will be ready. So I'm excited to see. I know the draft's coming up, and I'm excited to see where some of our guys go, and and guys that land spots and what they do with those opportunities. So I'm proud of our former players and the ones that have left and are going into the next level, because they're fulfilling, childhood dreams. So.
All right. That's all the questions that I have.